Hey everybody, I'm Mia. This is a new YouTube channel that I wanted to begin. Um, I want to introduce myself, and I am a transgender, and I titled this video being Trans in Alabama because it's a YouTube channel that I wanted to start, because I have a burden on my heart for transgender people in Alabama, but not just in Alabama, all around the world. And I have that burden because I've had so many difficulties since I've started identifying as trans, and I want to be an advocate for the transgender community, and I also want to, you know, I want to give encouragement, to other people that are like me. Maybe some encouragement through us relating through some of the lifestyle things that we're going through, or some of the things we deal with in life. So, in order to do that, I want to start this channel by saying, hey, I'm Mia, I'm 23 years old, male by identity assignment at birth, but female, and I'm 23. I may have already said that. I'm not very good at this. This is a new channel, so just bear with me, you guys. So I wanted to start by telling you my story, my background, kind of a little bit of what I'm dealing with, and I'll just see what you guys think. And for right now, I might post a video a week, just to see how it goes. But so currently I'm living in a halfway house. Of course, it is in North Alabama, hence the title, Trans in Alabama. So um, I wanted to start with the beginning of my life and how I got here. So, at a very young age, at 13 years old, I actually decided that I was gay. I was, you know, and a lot of people are like, you don't just wake up one morning and be like, oh, I'm gay. Well, in my case, that's kind of how it happened. So, there was a boy who, in my neighborhood, and we live out in the country, woods, ponds, creeks, you know. So, I met this boy. He moved in several years after we moved into the neighborhood, and it was my first gay relationship. You know, it was very weird how it came about. We actually were playing tackle football, and it's just how when you play tackle football, sometimes hands go where hands aren't supposed to go, and that's kind of how it all started. And when that happened, I got like chill bumps all over. And when I went to bed that night, I was 13, I was growing up in a Christian school now, okay, because I grew up in a Southern Baptist home. Crazy, right? But we'll get to that in a minute. But I went to bed that night and I just couldn't sleep. Like I was stuck on thinking about this experience and what happened, and I was confused and I was frustrated because growing up in a Southern Baptist church and a Christian school up until this point, I was always like, it was always driven to my head how wrong being gay was and how you were going to go to hell. And, like the things I heard about hell as I was growing up, were scary. And I didn't want to go there, I didn't want to be unloved by the person who created the world because I just thought he was so mean and so harsh because of what I had been taught growing up. So, I tried to push it aside and I actually tried to avoid this certain individual for a long time. And it couldn't, my curiosity got the best of me and I couldn't avoid him. So, we continued on in this relationship and it was crazy. The deeper I got involved, the more emotions got involved, and it was just, it was unreal because it started me thinking about who I was and who I wanted to be. So I continued to experiment and just kept on going through life and, kept on going to church, kept going to the Christian school, of course, and he moved away. Like, it was really sad for me when he moved away because I was heartbroken. I think of this as my first love kind of like my puppy love stage. We all have one of those. So he moved away, and I was depressed, and I was sad and angry. And I was angry because I feel like the process of me trying to figure out who I was had come to an end when he moved away. It was really difficult to deal with, and my parents noticed the change in me, and I wouldn't tell them because I knew what they would say. I knew what would happen. So I continued on, and up until my ninth grade year in high school, I went to this Christian school, and I was just miserable from 13 up until my freshman year because I was battling these feelings I was having, thinking they were wrong and evil. So my sophomore year, I actually went to a public school. Big change, especially for someone who's been sheltered in church and a Christian school all their life. Going to public school was like, holy shit, like, what am I gonna do? Will people like me? There's a lot more people in this kind of school setting than there was in the school I was in. So I was excited, but I was so terribly scared. So I start my sophomore year thinking, well, maybe it'll be easier to kind of let myself be out and be free and kind of express myself more. And that just wasn't the case here because being in Alabama back then, it was still a difficult place for a person to come out as being gay, like it was in most places, really. So, I didn't even come out as gay in the public school, but I was constantly made fun of for being gay, and I was called gay, and guys wouldn't really hang out with me, so I had a lot of girlfriends. And that's because I was really feminine, like super, super feminine, and just had a feminine look about me, kind of a round face, feminine facial features, and I walked like a woman, which God knows I got made fun of for so long. And, you know, my dad was constantly on me about acting more like a man and talking with a deeper tone in my voice. And I just felt completely like judged, and I just felt like I was being picked on, really. And in a sense, I was. So I finally made it to my senior year in high school, and I had never been more depressed in my life. I had gotten so fat because I started trying to solve my problems by eating, and I was huge, almost 300 pounds to be exact. So, I had one best friend, one guy best friend named Lucas in high school, and we ended up getting together toward the end of my senior year. And when I graduated, I came out to my family as being gay. Well, immediately my dad was like, "Get out of my house. You're not welcome here. You're gonna go to hell. You're an embarrassment to our family." So I left. And when I left, I had nowhere to go, and I didn't know what to do. So I had a car, so I was living in a car, and it was really rough. I had started experimenting with drugs prior to this because of the depression I was dealing with. So drugs were playing a part in this as well, and alcohol. I was drinking very heavily. So, I go out and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to make it with nowhere to live. So Lucas, the one I had gotten with, let me come stay with him for a little while. And he was also a closeted gay. His parents didn't know because he was worried about their reaction towards it as well. So, we continued our little escapades, and I got a job and saved up enough money to get a house, a small house, you know, in Moulton, which is where I was staying at the time. So I moved into this house, and me and Lucas, we broke it off. It was not going to work. It was a complicated situation, and it was just not going to work. So we broke it off, and I went into this deep, dark depression where I was so lost, and I just felt really alone because I had no family, I had no friends, I had no one. that was there for me, supporting me in any way. So I just felt like an outcast. So I started drinking so heavily, so much. I was drinking every night, just vodka, wine, beer, whatever I could get my hands on. And it got to a point where it just became addictive, and I threw pot in there with it. And then about 6 months later, started taking Xanax and became extremely addicted to Xanax. And finally, I OD'd on Xanax and went to the hospital one night. And my parents came up there, and my dad was like, "It's just too bad that you didn't die. It would have been a lot easier for all of us because you're just such an embarrassment to us." So after saying that, he stuck me in a rehab and he just left me there. And I was in this rehab for 21 days. And it just, you know, depression, anxiety, it was awful. So, I got clean for a little while after that rehab. And I met a guy his name was Jay, and I dated him for 2 years. And in the end of that 2 years, he talked me into going to Vegas. I just bought another car. Things were going good. And so I was really excited, and I thought he loved me. I believed everything he said because I was vulnerable at this point, and I wanted someone involved in my life so, so bad. Someone to tell me they loved me that I believed the first person that told me that. So we go to Vegas, and it was exciting at first, and it wasn't long though when we got there that his true intentions came out. We started doing sex work, and he got me involved in it, and of course, adding to my depression and anxiety, this totally destroyed my self-image and my self-respect and dignity. Because getting paid to have sex, it kills one's self-image. It just really it makes you feel like you have a price on you, and then it feels like you're worth that amount of money that someone's given you, and that's just an awful feeling. So after this, I wasn't making enough money, so Jay Ricketts was a rough kind of guy. He had done time in prison, and he was in a gang and had lost lost his membership in the gang. So to get back into this gang, it was really scary when I found out that they actually killed someone to get back initiated into the gang, and little did I know that that was his intentions the whole time, was to actually take me up there, and he helped to get me strung out on crystal meth, and that's how he completely brainwashed me in a sense, and we're in it. One night we go to the meth dealer's house, and it's just a rundown house, broken windows out. I think it was condemned. And I remember just thinking, this is not right. Something's not right here. So we get to the house, and he goes inside, and he's like, just wait in the car. And I was like, okay, that's a little creepy, but alright. And it's kind of like getting towards fall, so it's a little chilly, It's kind of foggy here. But it really wasn't that bad chilly because it is Vegas, so it was still kind of warm. But I sat there for almost an hour, and then finally I get out of the car and go to the trunk because I had a blanket back there, and I was gonna cover up with the blanket because I was cold. So I get out of the car, and I'm in the trunk getting a blanket, and I hear some yelling. Okay, well, I'll just keep on doing what I was doing. I was like, I'm not gonna get involved. It's probably nothing. Well, then I hear the cock of the gun, and all of a sudden there's bullets flying through my car. And I had been driving, so there were three bullets that actually went through the windshield of the driver's seat. Immediately, I was terrified. I didn't know what to think. I was like, holy crap. So I like dropped to the ground and kind of got under the car, and I see Jay standing at the door of that house with the gun, with the pistol. And realizing that the one who I thought had loved me had just intentionally tried to kill me, I didn't know what to do. I was frozen in fear. I was, scared. So he turns around to go back in the house, and immediately I climb out from under the car and I just start running. Now, granted, I'm from Alabama. This is Vegas. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know anything about this place. And I run and run and run. And finally, I kind of make it down to it's kind of an inhabited area near the main strip in Vegas. And I run into a homeless lady named Martha. And my face, I'm just pale, and I'm trying not to cry telling you the story because it was a terrible experience. But Martha, like, she saw something was wrong. She saw me. I look young, because I am young. I'm 20 at the time, and she's just like, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" Because I'm kind of cut up and bruised and bleeding from running through some brush and all that, trying to get away because I thought Jay was coming after me. That he might have saw me run. So, well, I tell Martha what happened, and I'm like, should I call the police? And she's like, they won't help you here, honey. So she took me to where she was staying. And she was staying in like one of these big concrete drainage ditches, and she was staying under the bridge. And, me, I'm terrified. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm here with this strange woman that I've never met before in my life, terrified that Jay is out looking for me. And she's like, honey, just stay with me for a little while and I'll take care of you, and we'll figure this out. So, a few days turned into a couple of months that I stayed with Martha. And finally, the fear overwhelmed me because I was still strung out on meth. And the homeless people in Vegas have like all the meth in that city. So she was helping to keep me supplied because I think she felt guilty or felt bad about what I had gone through. So she was giving it to me to help me cope with those emotions of fear and just utter shock. So finally, I'm walking down the strip one day, and I walk up to this police and I tell him, I'm like, if you don't help me, I'm gonna kill myself because I just couldn't take the fear of thinking that Jay was still looking for me, trying to kill me. So that landed me in a mental hospital that I stayed in for 3 months. It was the state hospital in Las Vegas. So Carmart, who I was buying the car from and making payments from, well, the lady that sold me the car actually followed me on social media, and she noticed that I just quit posting all of a sudden, and that was the night that Jay had tried to shoot me because I'd left my phone in the car. And they had a GPS on the car, so they tracked the GPS. Well, she started to call every hospital in Vegas until she actually found out where I was. And she called my parents and she told my parents. And my parents, like, I told them the whole story, thinking that maybe them being worried about me and feeling bad would get them to help me to get me back to home, and it just, my dad was still in one of those states of mind where you deserve it for your lifestyle choices. So they did bring me back to Alabama and they put me in a halfway house in Huntsville. Well, I was in this halfway house for 3 months before I relapsed again. And this time I relapsed on heroin. And this is when I had started watching videos on transgender people and seeing a lot about transgender on the news, and I was relating to a lot of how these people that were identifying as trans felt, how they just felt out of place in their body, and how they just really felt like the opposite of their sex assignment. So I began to experiment with makeup and women's clothing, and I remember the first time I had on a full outfit of women's clothing and makeup, and I just felt so comfortable. It was wonderful. I felt amazing. So then I started identifying as trans, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave it for right now. I'm going to see how this video goes and see if y'all like it, and if y'all do, I'll try to post one every week. But for now, that's just a little bit of my background up to where I am today. So, um, y'all watch this video, just take a few minutes to watch it, and if you can relate, comment and let me know, because I really would like to be an encouragement to other people so that maybe I can help other people get through life. Thank y'all.